Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'll be breaking down our next matchup for UFC London. In this matchup, we have Shem Rock taking on Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. This is a bit of a tricky fight for me because both guys have clear strengths, but they also have very clear weaknesses. So I think it really is going to come down to which flaw gets exposed first in this matchup. Now, that said, actually, let's look at our two fighters. Starting with Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. He's currently 15-4 as a professional, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Now, in the UFC, he's currently 0-1, losing his debut 2 years ago to Luke Rajabov, who who annihilated him with this sort of leaping right hook into ground and pound. Since then, that has literally been Al-Selwady's last fight. He was on a 4-fight win streak, which included his Contender Series win over George Hardwick, who is, by the way, the brother of Harry Hardwick. But since then, he hasn't fought since. Now, he's had some scheduled fights, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, last October, he was supposed to fight Matheus Camilo, had to pull out of that fight. Also scheduled like against Balaji Oki, Jordan Levick, Guram Kutiteladze. Not been very active. The only other match he had after his loss to Rajabov was a grappling match in May of 2024. Not very active, unfortunately. Now, looking at Shem Rock, he's currently 12-2-1 as a professional, 4-1 in his last 5 as well. Now, he also lost his UFC debut, in this case, last November to Nurul Aliyev, in that fight where I thought I was quite impressed by Shem Rock's takedown defense and his ability to basically defend all the takedowns from a very persistent wrestler like Aliyev. But boy, oh boy, he's got some flaws. He's got some flaws too, like Al-Selwady. Both of these guys incredibly flawed. And honestly, neither one, whoever I'm picking, is confident in any way, shape, or form for me. Because you got one guy off a 2-year layoff, and another one who makes me have some real questions about him in his debut. So, without further ado, however, let's get down to the breakdown. Starting with Shem Rock. Now he trains out of Next Generation Liverpool. That's the same camp as Paddy Pimblett, as Luke Riley, and it kind of shows in Shem Rock's training. More specifically, that Paddy Pimblett connection, because he's got solid jiu-jitsu. Comfortable on top, comfortable off his back. He's shown good awareness in grappling exchanges. His takedown defense, like I said, looked respectable, especially against someone who's as persistent in them as Nurul Aliyev. On the feet, I would say Shem Rock's a bit more of a kicker. He uses range, throws kicks well, and generally tries to operate from the outside rather than getting into any heavy boxing exchanges. There is one major concern, however, and that is his lack of head movement. Oh my God, he does not move his head whatsoever. He tends to just, Shem Rock's head seems to just be on the center line, and that just makes him so damn hittable. And you saw it against Aliyev, who rocked him badly in that fight multiple times and just seemingly could not miss with his punches. And, Nurul Aliyev is not some world-class striker. So the fact that he was able to catch Shem Rock so many times is very alarming, to say the least. Now, looking at Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. Al-Selwady, definitely, he's not the most technical striker, but he is dangerous, right? He carries real power in his both hands. He's the kind of fighter who thrives when Al-Selwady can close distance and make the fight physical. A lot of his game is built around pressure, wrestling, and ground and pound. That's a lot of when it comes to it. He's a good pressure wrestler. And so for Al-Selwady, he wants to push forward, get inside, and either land big shots or bring the fight to the ground. And once he's in close, the power becomes a real factor. And even if he doesn't land cleanly, he does hit hard enough to hurt his opponents. So when I look at this match stylistically, I think it comes down to two things. Can Al-Selwady get inside? And can Shem Rock avoid getting hit clean? Because Shem Rock likely has the reach advantage, right? You look at their physical stats. Shem Rock is taller by about 3 inches and has a 4-inch reach advantage. So he's going to be the taller guy in there. And I think he might be a bit more the technical striker of the two. Certainly has a better kicking game than Al-Selwady and can manage distance if he stays disciplined. But the issue is that Al-Selwady doesn't need to win at range. He just needs to get close. And once he's in the pocket, the fight changes because Shem Rock's lack of head movement becomes a major liability against a power puncher. Add in a wrestling threat, and Al-Selwady has multiple ways to make this fight uncomfortable for Shem Rock. Now, looking at our final assessment, I think Shem Rock has the more polished overall skill set. He's a better grappler in terms of jiu-jitsu, probably a more technical striker at range as well. And I can see he showed really good takedown defense. So I think Al-Selwady is going to have a hard time taking Shem Rock down. Plus, you add in the 2-year layoff, you got to wonder how bad is Al-Selwady's ring rust. But at the same time, fights aren't just about who's more technical. They're about who can impose their will, right? And Al-Selwady's pressure, power, and wrestling give him a very clear path to do exactly that. Again, 2-year layoff. That's what makes this so much of a struggle for me. If this was Al-Selwady coming off the Luke Rajabov loss, maybe a few months ago, I'd be a bit more confident in picking him because of how damn hittable Shem Rock is. But at the same time, oh my God, 2-year layoff, ring rust is such a real thing. And if he's slow, plodding, and just doesn't move and doesn't cut off the cage properly, Shem Rock's going to pick him apart at range. So this is easily one of the tougher fights to pick. Again, not because either one is very elite and oh man, there's so many nuances. Just who's going to expose the other's flaw first. And for this case, I slightly lean towards Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. Not the most confident pick, absolutely not. I could honestly flip a coin and probably get better results for you, but I think his pressure, power, and ability to close distance should allow him to exploit Shem Rock's defensive gaps on the feet and possibly hurt him en route to a TKO. And not a likely pick, probably by decision, but I think TKO is possible. But with that being said, that has been my breakdown of this matchup. And once again, I'm picking Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. I'm going to pick him via decision. But as I said, this has been my breakdown of this matchup. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think's going to win. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. And remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.